Welcome to Authentic with Brazil 201. I'm your host, Brazil 201. We're going to talk about Paradise Season 2, Episode 4 and 5 of Paradise. And I have to say, out of 5 episodes, 4 have been fantastic. I think the weakest was the one where we follow female Elon Musk in the bunker situation. But even then, it kind of tied into the bigger story of everything that's happening with like the whole Sinatra thing's been annoying. I have to say, what is interesting because we are, I think, halfway through the show. I don't know if it's 10 or 8 episodes this season, but Sterling K. Brown, who is the star of said show, I've just been trying to estimate how much screen time he's had in the 5 episodes. I think in total, he maybe had 45-ish minutes, which is interesting for a show that is basically around him. And, season 1, he's the Secret Service agent trying to solve the murder of President Cal. Now it's about trying to find his wife. I gotta say, we're 4 for 5 on fantastic episodes, with 3 being the weakest. And obviously, we're gonna go full spoilers. We're gonna do 4, and then we're gonna do 5. Episode 4 was the Annie has brought Xavier into the Graceland Elvis tourist house thing, and she locked him up, well, with, like, handcuffs, and she keeps saying, like, "Yeah, I know, you have to get to Atlanta, and you're from a bunker, and these are the coordinates, and blah, 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 blah." And Xavier mentions everything about, the bunker city, it's real and everything's real. And then Annie mentions, so it is real because Link heard about the bunker. Link is the baby daddy of Annie, who is 8.5 months pregnant at this point, or 9. And she's like, "No, you're gonna take me to Colorado." And he's like, "Look, I promise I will take you to Colorado once I get my wife in Atlanta, okay? And we will link up with your baby daddy, boyfriend, and the whole situation." So, Annie, who's been scared to leave her paradise of Graceland, finally decides, okay, to venture out with Xavier. And while they're walking, they meet an Amish group. And Annie's terrified of him, and Xavier just says hi, and they go. And rules of the apocalypse that we see, we don't know actually what society is like now, right? We're using our own perceptions of what we've seen in other shows. There was this show, the No Electricity NBC show, that was called, oh god, what the fuck was the show? Revolution, right? Where all the power went off, and we're kinda in this similar place, right? I think, like, in our post-apocalyptic environments, this show is a lot like Revolution, where no electricity works because there's this global EMP bomb that went, and everything that wasn't in an EMP protection area does not work. So we're kinda in a similar situation, right? Because the nukes didn't go off. Maybe some nukes went off. We really have no idea if any of the nukes landed before the EMP, went off. But, we see, like, The Walking Dead, we see Last of Us, we kinda see how, like, society collapses, and it seems that, from what we saw in Annie's situation and then what we saw in episode 5, the weather for the first 18 months after the EMP went off and the volcano erupted had to kill most people. So, that's where we are. Annie goes to they're at a Waffle House. Annie's in so much pain, and she's like, "I have to give birth." And Xavier goes to the Amish people, and then the Amish people agree to help. Annie wrote a note that says, "I hope you read this when you're older, and I hope Xavier's been taking good care of you, or if Xavier gave you back to your real father, he's taking care of you." Beautiful note. I'm very upset they killed Annie in the 2 episodes because, like, we had the whole episode, like, the Shailene Woodley is gonna get nominated for Emmy episode, and just so we understand, we're clear, she is gonna get nominated. Is she going to, um, beat, what's it called? The Pluribus Girl? It depends how they do it, right? 'Cause I don't know if she's been billed as a regular on when they submit it to them because she's only in 2 episodes, so I don't think she's a regular. I think you could do guest lead actress or, like, whatever and have her win that because it's very clear that the Pluribus Girl or someone from the pit is going to win in, regular show Emmy politics. I mean, either way, she's gonna get nominated for whatever category they decide to put her up in. And it's beautiful, and she dies after childbirth because the placenta isn't coming down, she can't stop bleeding, and she just has this whole conversation I mean, Xavier has this conversation like, how are you gonna take care of the baby? Like, you can't breastfeed, what are you gonna do? But he's like, babies, they survive no matter what because they've been found in earthquakes 3 days later, and the horse is upset because Annie is dead, but the horse smells Annie's baby and understands that is Annie, and they walk, and the episode ends with him at this Atlanta post office finding the guy. He's like, "Oh, you must be Xavier." Flat to the next episode, we now flash back to the day of with the post office man, who I'm not gonna bother to know his name. I'm just gonna call him Post Office Man. And he was just some fat kid that played Call of Duty, and they always talked about, survivalist. And he's like, I'm just a 38-year-old mailman. What am I supposed to spend my pension on? And him and a guy named Enos have been using the basement of the post office, which in the Cold War was a nuclear shelter. So they've been like putting supplies there throughout the year. And then the day of shit happens, and he's like, shit, we gotta go pick up everybody. And we see the events of the day of from the post office man's perspective. After all of the fucking chaos that has happened, we see he finds a little boy who's like has a drug addict mom. He takes the little boy. And then he sees Terry, who's making the call that we see on episode 7, like, "Please, dad," and they bring him in, and then we get the whole 3 years of them living in the bunker and how they built the radio and all these other shenanigans, and we keep jumping back to Xavier, and Xavier's like, "I don't trust you. I know you're not telling me something. I don't know what it is, but you're not touching this baby." So then they go to the school, the Atlanta high school, is being used as a trading facility, so he's there, and the people there can tell he's not from around here because he's asking for supplies that just everyone else who knows wouldn't be around. They meet up with the 2 other people who originally were living in the bunker, and Xavier trusts him immediately because he notices something that only Terry would have, like, trusted him with, so he gives him the baby temporarily. And we get told by the post office guy that Terry was taken and she's being held captive by the train gang. But in the flashback, we see the train gang who is being run by someone with a Kara Swisher haircut. They're not bad people. They're just being led by Link and they want to go to Colorado. Now, we don't know if them being taken by the train people part of the story is true. Now, we know Link knows about the bunker, but I don't know if he took Terry to the bunker. We don't know where Terry is, actually. We don't know if she's with the train people or she's with Link. But we see is that the post office guy kills Enos because Enos was like, "Oh, Terry can go with the train people to the bunker." So we don't know what happens at all in this situation. But obviously Xavier doesn't trust Post Office Man. I don't trust Post Office Man. I can't wait till he dies. I clearly think the Post Office Man is trying to get Xavier killed because, as we see, he didn't reveal the information that he killed Enos, or we don't know who took Terry or whatever the situation is. So that is where we are. Has been happening. I fucking love Paradise Season 2. I gotta say, the way they keep doing these flashbacks to the day of the world going to shit have been done really well. From the way we did it with Annie, from the way we did it with the ugly USPS post office guy, to the way we did it on, obviously, episode 7 of Paradise. It's amazing that they've done this well 3 times now. And I know they said Paradise is only gonna be a 3-season show, but I feel like you could just do an anthology show where we just follow some random group and we just, like, relive the day of anywhere. Because 'Cause I'm just so invested now in the day of shit of, like, how it all, like, goes to shit from all these different perspectives, and it's just been so fun to watch, and maybe that is always, like, the best part of these apocalyptic, shows, is the day of, which is why I was really mad with, like, the Fear the Walking Dead because it started off really well, right? Where we see, like, people slowly getting infected and then how overrun it happened, and then, like, The Last of Us did it as well, but then we jumped the 20 years, and it's like, "Oh, that's it." Right? I think it's been fun. I love it. I hope we kill the post office guy. Fuck Enos. I'm upset they killed Annie. I still am confused at what we're doing in the bunker. Like, did they discover like Link is the future? Did they discover time travel? I don't know what the fuck is happening, but here we go.